Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rob, and today now we're going to be fitting a stereo in the Defender. Taking the old stereo out, and I bought myself a new Sony stereo to go in. Right, so the new head unit is going to go in here. I'm going to be taking this one out and sorting a few other things behind the unit. I'll be fitting this. So this is a Sony XAV-AX8150. Anyway, I'll show you a picture of it anyway. But this has got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. It's got everything on it, to be honest with you. 8.95 screen, so it's basically a 9-inch screen. HDMI out. It's got a USB, but it's all tucked away, guys. So it's a single DIN unit. It's quite a bit of spec on the back there. I'll insert some pictures or some bit of video or something on them. But yeah, that's got to go inside here. Take all this off. Let's hope it does fit where it needs to go. It may mask some of these switches, but I didn't really want to be buying a double DIN surround, so that's a single DIN unit. Yeah, so it's you can use it on your Android, or if you've got a smartphone or iPhone, it's compatible with either, which operating system you've got. So I've got to take this off now. The next job now is to take all this off and clip it off and hope it fits. I bought new clips that hold this retainer on, because this is a heavy unit. This unit, like I say, it's okay. It's all right. It fires up. I'll just push the ignition on now. It does fire up and everything. So this is a touch screen, but it's not in comparison to the Sony. I'd say this one, I've had it about 8 years. So there we go. Turn the music off. No copyright free music on it. But yeah, this is all touch screen. It hasn't got DAB radio, which that has, and everything else. So I'm looking forward to fitting this. Obviously then I can sort of customize the head unit with whatever I want on there. A new Sony unit. So it's called a floating screen. So basically you have to adjust it to where you want it, and then that's permanently fixed there then as well. So it's not a double DIN unit, it's a single unit, but it looks double DIN, but it's on a floating screen. So basically you just position it where you want it, and that's it. Yep, so I disconnected the battery, the main battery, and disconnected the second battery. Yeah, so looking forward to getting that. Just tidy up a few bits and bobs, and then sort of make a start to fit in the cage for the radio. So this job is a time-consuming job. It's not a 2-minute job, because you want to get it right. It's a lovely stereo, so I don't want to damage it or force it in, and hopefully it'll fit. I won't have to do any other modifications in here. Right, so I got the radio I took out. It's my old one, and so I need to get this trim off, or this finisher. But also what I did do, or I have done, is bought new clips. They've been in there since a long time. They've probably gone a bit weak. So I bought these clips online. I think they were about 8-9 quid, I think they were. It's a lot of money just for a bit of wire, mine. I'll probably keep these as spares, but these will be better because obviously they'd be new. So the plan is now to get these off. Plan is to get this off. Turn these tabs back down. There we go. So that will go back on with the new clips. We won't need this radio anymore. Probably keep it for a spare unless somebody wants it. They can have it, no problem. So we'll fit the new clips, straightforward enough. Put the head unit on and make a start of putting it all together. Right, so the unit comes with a USB, which you can leave sort of dangling down, but I didn't want that, so I went out and bought from Mud UK one of their switches that fits in a Defender, like that. So this end would go into the stereo end, and then this is on the outside, obviously where your switch panels are, so you can fit your Fire Stick in there, or USB for music, and so you haven't got a dangling wire basically to plug into your USB, if that makes sense to you guys. Yeah, so I thought that was a really nice touch. It was about, I think about 18 quid, something like that, 18 pounds plus delivery. But yeah, that'll fit TD5s or any of the Puma vehicles. Yeah, so it's basically, instead of having a wire coming off like that, and you plug your Fire Stick or USB in there, you've got that. And I think this illuminates green, this little legend here, when you've got power to it from your Fire Stick or USB. Yeah, so that's a nice little touch, so I'll be fitting that as well. Anyway, let's get back to it. So what I've done so far now, I've actually taken the unit out, I've done some wiring, I've got to run a cable now for the DAB radio, the back of the head unit, bring some other wires in. I've got to solder a wire in for my sub that's in the back, my subwoofer in the back. So, and then obviously then what else I've got to do? Well, I've got to put all the trim clips back, I've got to put the head unit in, and just basically tidy stuff up. It's a bit more work left to do, but I'm getting there. So I'll come and show you what I've done so far. Come with me and I'll show you. Right, so this is where I'm at inside. So this blue wire is my sub wire that I had already in here. So that needs to be soldered in. So I need to cut that and solder that into the new plug socket on the back of the new Sony unit. Then you've got your aerial, standard aerial, which is straightforward enough. And then you've got your for your sub, you've got to connect those in the back. I've got to run another cable then up from the bottom of the dash inside here for the DAB radio to go in. Once all that's plugged in and everything, I can start putting the unit back in. And then obviously then I've got from Mud UK, like I showed you earlier, that you've probably seen this. So basically that will go into one of these little ports here like that, and I can plug then the USB from the head unit into there. So when I want to plug any sort of music, MP3 player and what have you, tucked in there, I haven't got a cable hanging down. And also this head unit's got a HDMI as well, so I can do sort of mirror imaging, I can do all sorts of stuff. I said it's going to take me a while to get to some of the features on this Sony head unit. So that's where we're at. So it's a bit of wiring, bit of soldering, feeding wires through, make sure everything's all neat and tidy inside there, and then I can fit the head unit in the screen. So let's get back to it. Right, I've pulled the cable up for the DAB radio. This is it here, you can see it. And then I've got this blue cable in, which is for the sub, which was already on my vehicle when I fitted it a couple of years ago. So this is the wire harness that you get with the Sony stereo. You've got this park brake, which I'll just put to unearth. So what I need to do with this is get the blue cable in this and solder the sub cable into that. So I need to put a nice connector on that, or just solder that in there neatly, so I can use my sub then as well on there. And there's the head unit. So you've got your DAB radio to go in there, obviously your aerial, you've got your sub, so it's the two connectors I showed you earlier on. I think your microphone goes in one of these, microphone, and obviously then the power unit, which are these here. All this just clips into the back of this unit here, so basically that will just go this way, give it a push in, and then obviously then there's a block connector in the Land Rover already. So basically plug and play, got a little bit of wiring to sort out. And what's nice about this head unit is that the USB, I'll have to show you when I get the head unit on there. So all this is fully adjustable with the head unit, but the USB travels through here to the back of the unit, so you've got no cables hanging around on this head unit. So Sony have done a fantastic job, brilliant job on that. Why pay somebody to do it when you can do it yourself? And you know where things are then when it comes to doing any work on your Land Rover, because you see a lot of people sort of, oh well, I can't do it, I don't know how to do it, but you've got to learn, make mistakes on the way, but as long as it don't cost you anything when you make mistakes. So I've got the park brake wire, which enables me then to use the stereo, maybe not illegally when you're driving, but I'm going to put that to an earth. So what I've done, I've put that in some conduit. I got some heat shrink on there, so I'm just going to heat this down. Like that. A bit warm, that is, to touch. So that's the park brake. So I've got to unearth this off the fuse box. I can put that too. That's another job done. It all takes time and do a tidy job as well. Yep, that's a neat job, and I've left the label on as well. I've moved the label because I had came with about 2 meters of cable off the stereo, and I thought, right, I'll cut it and I'll just re-slide this badge back on, so I'll know what that is. Oop, maybe two. I'll know what that is then if I ever need to take it off. Soldered all the wire in for the amp, the blue and white wire to power the amp in the back. So that's all done. Got the aerial cable there. Got your phono cables. These are digital. Yeah, these are digital ones. These are. And then you've got DAB radio connector then. Which goes in the back of the unit. So all that's been poked through up here. And also then I've done the cradle for the radio, bent all the tabs over, new springs. I hold it onto there. Right, here we go. Right, so we've got from Mud UK, that'll go into one of the gaps in the dash. And then the back of the stereo, that goes into the stereo. And on the other end then is, I don't know, is the male, is it, or female part of the USB. So basically that will plug into there. Like so. You see that? So all I need to do then is put my USB stick in there, or whatever I've got from my music or if I watch any films, and then obviously then that goes into the back of the head unit, so I haven't got any cables poking through and looking untidy. So that's a nice little feature. I'll leave a link in the description for that. So if you've got an Apple CarPlay, or if you've got something with a USB, instead of having the cables sort of hanging down, if you've got a, I don't know, a TD5 or a Puma or even a Discovery with that type of sort of blank size, it's a good little thing to have. I mean, you can get cheaper ones, but I thought I've got a few mud switches on here and I'm happy with them. So this is the front of the unit. So I'm trying to show you if I can show you on camera as well, is this clips off. So that clips off, and then what you do, you get a USB cable, so that sits in there. Put that finishing plate on, and it's all tucked away neatly, so you put that back on, put it through the cage, and then obviously then you've got your USB then tucked in, and just clip it into, that clips into the, on the screen itself, underneath the screen there's a USB where that clips into underneath there, and all this is hidden away, you can't see any of it. So all that's left for me now to do is to put this in the cage, and then obviously then start putting the screen on. The screen is a lovely Sony screen, really nice, and it's fully adjustable, so you can either have it on the screen itself, you can either have it fully out, in, tilt it, and you just screw it down in the position you want. So there's like a ribbon here which that connects into the phone, so I've got to feed that through the dash. So it's just putting things back now, bolting stuff up, putting the trims back, putting all the fuse box stuff back, and then hopefully then we'll fire it up, make sure it works. Might need to adjust the screen, but I think it's pretty good where it is, to be honest with you. So that'll be the next job now, just to put everything all back, tidy up the Land Rover. Doing it today, and it is really warm. It's about 26 degrees, so I am struggling a bit on the warm side. So this is where I'm at. I've got the head unit in, and I positioned it in this position on the screws on the back. So all I got to do now is tighten them up, and then put it comes with these plates which slide down the side just to tidy it up. So you've got two of them, and then you've got a top one, and then you've got some screws and all that. So that just basically is a finisher. That's for the it sits behind here. I think it's in a good position. I think I don't need to tilt that anymore. So once you've fitted it and bolted up, you can't turn this screen or move it in any way. So I think it looks alright. It's not hiding any of the buttons for me. Looks alright. So yeah, I just gotta wait to power that up now. A few more bits and bobs to sort out. So there you go, guys, all fitted up. Moment of truth now is to take the polythene off. This is coming off. There she is. It's a 9-inch screen more or less, so 8.95 screen, HDMI in and out. USB. I've yet to switch it on yet, so the next job for me now is to connect the battery back up, get this bad boy fired up and see what it can do. So that's it, all fitted up, one Sony stereo system in the Defender. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, and I'll catch you in the next one. Like I said.